Well, hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. We're sorry, we've been really busy this month. We haven't been able to get this hunt uploaded, but this year we did something a little bit different. Normally we start in Kansas. I always start my early season youth hunt with my boy, and then we go right into either a muzzleloader or bow season for us in Kansas. And because it's so close to us here, it's really convenient. But this year, neither me or my son, either one, drew Kansas. So, I had to kind of come up with a different option for September. And luckily enough for me, one of my good friends and one of our pro staff members, John Boykin, had invited me. He's been inviting me for a couple years, but I've always been in Kansas. And he gave me an invite to hunt Kentucky. And, for years, everybody has seen them velvet bucks and big deer that come out of Kentucky there early. And so I was excited for the opportunity. And so initially I sent him a few cell phone cameras, and he was able to put those out, and right off the bat we started getting deer that we knew. Actually, one of them was called Daggers, a big typical 10, and then another one that showed up that he wasn't sure which deer it is was a deer we ended up naming Gomer. It was a non-typical triple beam buck, a really cool deer. Later we'd actually find out that we found a picture from him from 3 years prior. He had not been there. This is mountain deer. This is a whole different terrain. It's a lot of different situation. And for whatever reason, John just never had a picture of this deer for the last 3 years. And you could tell 100% sure that it was him. And that year he was at least 3. So we knew this deer was at least 6. And to have an opportunity in the mountains to hunt a deer of this caliber can be very tricky, but it was going to be an exciting hunt. I hope you enjoy. Well, we are on our way for our very first hunt of the year. We're doing something a little bit different this year. We're actually heading to Kentucky. Normally I start my year in Kansas with my boy on youth season, but this year he didn't draw and I didn't either, so we had to come up with something different. And luckily for us, one of my brothers in Indiana has a lease in Kentucky, or owns a piece of ground, and he invited us out, so me and Chancey are going to try to make it to Kentucky tonight. Today's Thursday, season opens on Saturday, so right now we got a couple big deer. But first and foremost, a trip is not complete without stopping at an academy. So we're gonna run in here first and get some stuff that we need and get on the road. It's gonna be a long day. Me and Chancey both are a little bit under the weather, but we ain't gonna let that stop us when we got a 180s in velvet. So we're gonna run into our favorite place, get some good stuff, and head on down the road.
Sweet, so crispy. Nobody makes breakfast as good as Wendy's new home-style French toast sticks.
Well, today is opener. We typically this time of year too, we don't like to hunt mornings, and it's very difficult to kind of get in there. Usually them bucks are right there at daylight, so we like to just hunt evenings. And really, if you look at our trail cameras, we've had stealth cell phone cameras on these spots. And the buck was there last night again in daylight. Hopefully tonight he'll be there. So we're gonna get a little bit of practice in, shoot a few shots, make sure we're still dialed in, and then we're gonna start packing our backpacks. We got a lot to, first hunt of the year, make sure get everything organized, get ready. And it does look like we're gonna get rained on pretty hard. So we're gonna have to get the umbrella and all of our rain gear out, make sure we're prepared for tonight. But hopefully tonight will be the night.
They probably do.
Take a picture of that.
Yeah. Boy, that thing, they're in there, boy. We got to Kentucky those first couple days. We got there a little early and were able to shoot our bow, scout a little bit. We actually have some ground in Indiana we were going to check out too. But that first night we had some weather that had moved in. But when we looked at it, we felt like, and when you looked at the radar, we were going to miss it. So we decided to go ahead and go in as it was still lightly raining, hoping that would pass. A lot of times if you can get in there on them deer as the storm moves out, it would be a good night. And we had the right wind. So the first night we went in, and unlucky for us, the storm kept building and actually tail whipped us, and as you'll see, this is one of the worst situations in the weather that I've ever been in a tree stand. And that first day got ruined pretty bad by rain, and the next 2 days we ended up getting the wrong wind, and I was not going to push it on a mountain deer. I mean, you get the wrong wind in the mountains, it'll swirl real bad. We felt like if we had the right wind, that we could get on this deer pretty quick. So we spent the next 2 days just shooting our bows, hanging stands in Indiana, moving some cameras around, waiting for that perfect wind.
Well, today is September the 6th, and it's actually our 4th day here in Kentucky, but we sat in this stand the very first night and just got smoked with rain. And then the last 2 nights it's been raining and the wrong wind. So it finally stopped. It actually just stopped about an hour ago. Hopefully it'll be a good night. We got stealth cell phone cameras here on this flat. And it's a buck we call Gomer. He's a triple main beam buck. We know he's at least 6, but maybe 7. We found pictures. John hasn't had pictures of him for 2 years. We found pictures of him in 2019 the other night, so that would explain it, why he's a little weird. But these deer here just get old because it's so hard to get in. But this is some of the hardest hunting that you'll ever do. In a mountain like this, and thermals and getting in and out, it's difficult. So hopefully with a little bit of luck we got the right weather. That rain moved out and sun come up. Look like thermals are rising. We had does all around us in here and they can smell us, so hopefully the dead downwind, everything did their trick, and it is a beautiful afternoon. I will say it's a whole lot better than Saturday. Yeah, right there, that's him. Maybe I'll walk back down in here.
Well, we just got back to John's. We got kind of covered up there at last light and then had to get out in the dark and try to get out, but that didn't end up like we thought. You know, we've had these trail cameras out 3 months, and we've actually had some cameras on the right side of that camper, and for whatever reason, Gomer never goes that way. So when we set up everything for him to come off the hill, and today he started to come off the hill onto the flat like he has done 1,000 times on trail camera. And we could see another buck walk through the woods up there, and it looked like he walked him all the way off. And when they did, they circled in around down on the flat, and it took them so long to do it. By the time they got there, we were flirting right with the thermals, but I'm not sure what they smelled, because they blew the first time and trotted off, and just ended up walking back on the hill, and they turned and walked back. So obviously they didn't smell us, and then started to come in again, and the only thing we can think is maybe they smelled where we checked the camera. It's a really good possibility, because he kind of walked up there. If they'd have come from the other side, they would have been nowhere near the camera. But the little buck, and it wasn't even Gomer, it was the little buck. For whatever reason, he didn't like something, and he blew again and ran off. You know, thermals were starting to suck down by then, and then they just run off around the hill, and hopefully we got out of there and didn't hurt anything. I don't believe Gomer had any idea, because the other deer did the snorting and running off, and he just ran with them. So that's our only hope right now. These mountain deer won't take too much, and that's usually your first time in's your time. And we had it tonight. We planned it right. I mean, he was an hour and a half the first time we seen him before dark on his feet. Had him at 35 yards. All he had to do was walk on down through there. But I guess that's the way it goes. We got 2 days left. I'm not sure what we're going to do. We'll see what the cameras are showing and see if he walked back by or what he does tonight, and then we'll kind of go from there. But either way, this is a tough one to swallow. He was a giant. What a unique deer. Something I'll probably, without a doubt, never have a chance at a 3 main beam buck like that again. But anyway, it's almost 10 o'clock, so me and Chancey are going to get changed, go get something to eat, and cry ourselves to sleep.
Anybody who's ever hunted will tell you, is the wind swirls. And 1 minute we'll have perfect wind, next minute who knows what it does. But we're going to hope and pray that it calms down, does what it's supposed to. It's supposed to be north, northeast, right there. And every once in a while we'll be doing that. But we're back in the same spot where we were at last night. This is really the only spot we can hunt Gomer. We believe he's bedded right up there somewhere. And he's just sitting up on top watching everything. So hopefully tonight they don't come in weird. Hopefully he comes right down in here and goes that way like he's supposed to. This is an incredible buck. Just blessed to be able to hunt it. You know, John Boykin, one of our pro staff guys, he actually owns this property and invited me out. So I'm just blessed he would let me hunt one of his deer of this caliber. So hopefully we can get her done tonight. So I don't know how many times you can hunt these mountains and get away with it. You know, the first 1, 2 times in, or kill her after that. Deer start figuring out they couldn't hunt it. So Yes. Smoke the toad. Man, that's my first deer ever in Kentucky. It's the first time ever hunting Kentucky. And what a freaking hammer that deer is. I want to thank, first and foremost, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and give him all the praise and the glory. I promise you. Jeff texted me that earlier. That's the truth. I mean, I prayed hard last night. Most importantly, is I didn't want to make a mistake. And this deer in these mountains is one of the most skittish deer I've ever seen on camera. He was jumpy. Every time he'd smell the camera. Last night, they were just spooky as all get out. And I said earlier to Chancey, I said, perfect thing would be if they come out in that corner and don't come off that hill. And they did. He walked right out in the flat. I wasn't going to let him come any further because he was way too spooky. So it's really light, variable. Wind's been kind of swirling a little bit. I just freaking hammered him. That's awesome. Well, here he is. I'm pretty humbled to say the least. What a way to start off the year on an absolutely incredible mountain deer. We're in the Kentucky mountains right now. This is a piece that one of our pro staff members, John Boykin, that he owns and invited us to hunt. He's become one of my best friends, and for him to let us be able to hunt this deer, he's got pictures of this deer in 2019 and hasn't since, which is incredible. That kind of shows you how they're able to get away in the mountains. So we know he's at least 6, maybe 7 years old, but look at that, absolutely incredible. I mean, we've watched so many videos, we've got cell phone cameras, we've had so many pictures of him, and he just lost his velvet. But just an absolute incredible hunt, to be honest with you. The spookiest deer I've ever hunted in my life. These mountain deer are very, very difficult. That's why they're able to get so old. It kind of brought me back to my roots a little bit from West Virginia. Just, wow. You know, I didn't make the best shot. It was a little bit high. But it did the job. It dropped him in his tracks, and we were able to follow up with the second one real quick. And we hunted this deer right, just so you know. I mean, the first night we came in here, we got over 4 inches of rain on us. And then for the next 3 days, they got 6+ more inches. We had over 10 inches of rain right here. Yesterday, it rained 2 inches before we came into the tree. And we almost got him killed last night, but another deer spooked. It was real light. There's no wind, as you can see. And they ran off. He wasn't sure, and we were pretty sure he wasn't sure what happened. And he was here this morning in daylight, and I told Chancey, when we come back, I said, he's gonna be there tonight. And sure enough, there he is. Just, I don't know what he'll score, and I don't really care. This is an absolute incredible, incredible deer.
Well, I mean, what can I say? I mean, what a way to start out the year. I mean, my first Kentucky buck, one of my biggest bucks ever, to be honest with you. A big, non-typical like that in the mountains, 6-year-old deer, and I'll be honest, some of the smartest deer and the hardest deer I've ever had to hunt. I grew up in the mountains, West Virginia. It's been a long time since I've been able to hunt deer that kind of acted the way they do, or in conditions the way they were. Just a hunt that I'm so thankful for John, the effort that he put in, and the trail cameras and running all that and letting us hunt his farm. I can't thank him enough. Just an incredible blessing, and what a way to start out the season. Just make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us. We got lots of more hunts coming down the pipe, and hopefully we'll be able to get them to you sooner. It's going to be a fun year. Thanks for watching.
The answer is yes.
You're supposed to film that. I know you're filming me. My glasses on. Hey, it is what it is. This is my first year with him. Fine, I can't help it.
You're gonna have to
You turn 45, you get glasses, and you get a prostate exam. I mean, that's what happens. This deer is awesome, and it's truly my world-class animal here in Kentucky mountains, but the fellowship was more important to me. So we are truly blessed to be sitting behind him early September. Heck of a way to start the deer season.